Again, my name's Dwayne Hampsten with my son Daniel. We own the WatchWorks down on Shaver Road in Portage, and we're going to tell you a little bit about us today. So, well, I just did that. I started the WatchWorks in 2006 as a hobby, and the hobby kind of morphed into a part-time business out of my home. The part-time business morphed into full-time career starting in 2011. I went full-time, did that on my own, kind of overworked, underpaid, way overstressed. There's actually quite a need for watch repair. People find out what I do, whether it's in a social setting at church or something like this. It's like, well, do people even wear watches anymore? Because you hear about the smart watches or no watches because of the phones and things like that. But I read in a trade magazine one time that 80% of all watches have been given as gifts. So there's a connection and there's a story behind the watches that most people own. And that's what we tell people we're there for. You can go to Walmart, you can go to Meijer, you can buy a new watch for 20 bucks. But if it's something your late spouse gave you, it's your grandfather's pocket watch, something like that, those things mean something to people. And we're there to connect them and get those items running again so they can enjoy them the way they're supposed to be enjoyed. Again, this is our journey. So I started it was referred to as the Cave, the first building there on South Portage Road, way down by Urbelli's, if you know where that's at. When you walked in, I only had half of that building on the bottom floor. You walked in, it was about 12 feet wide and about 100 feet deep. And it was dark and it was a cave. From there, we moved up to the airport. That's in the Airview Plaza behind Fields Fabrics, right at the entrance to the airport. Really good location, much more, it wasn't really visible, but parking, access, all of that was really good. In 2020, my son Daniel joined us full time, and I had a lot of concerns about that because he had his own career, but it's worked out really well and I feel very blessed. That led us as a team to say, okay, we're paying all this money in rent. Let's see what we can afford to buy. In August of last year, we moved into this location on Shaver Road. Us and the bank own it. But we know that going forward, by the time I retire, Daniel will fully take over. By the time he retires, we'll have a nice piece of property that will be his to do with as he pleases. It just made a lot of business sense. How many watchmakers in the U.S. in 1960? I'm halfway through, so, okay. 1,000. Yeah, there was a lot. It was a whole different world. Every jewelry store in every small town on every main street in the United States had a watchmaker in it, sitting in the back, fixing stuff, oftentimes as you waited. 60,000 in 1960. 2020, there's 2,500. So when people say, can you make a living working on watches? Well, it's not easy. If you're making a living doing anything, it's usually not easy. But there is demand. And the demand is there, and the supply of qualified watchmakers is very low. So we're very busy. We have lots and lots of work to do. We have a backlog significant enough that February 15th, we quit taking in new pocket watches for repair. We put a 90-day pause on that. I've got 40 or 50 in my backlog, at least. I really don't want to know what that number is, but I've just decided that we can't keep throwing wood on the fire, and we've got to, take care of the stuff that we've got in-house and get those back to the customer in a more timely manner. And then we hope to be able to turn that back on in the middle of May. So, yep, it has been a good move over on Shaver Road. Again, Portage Road was a good location, not very visible where we were. We were behind Fields Fabrics, facing the driveway to the airport. Portage's traffic count in our new location is 10,000 cars a day past Shaver Road going to Meijer and Walmart and Starbucks and everything else that's down there. And this has been really encouraging. The new customer count. When we first moved in, we thought it was about 50-50, but that has really increased because of the people driving by. They say, I just saw you, we've got a great big sign now, and they say, hey, I saw you driving by, and I've had these watches in my dresser or in, whatever for 6 months, 8 months, 10 years. We have stuff that hasn't run in 50 years. So that's been a good bonus for us. Did I make it? You did. Hey.